arrive 7:15 p.m. First up, our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All sorts of folks in the audience tonight.
As far as recognizing visitors, I think most of our visitors are here for student reports. We do have one visitor, Dave Sullivan, but I'm going to bring him in. So,
all right. First up tonight is our board member vacancy interview. We have one person who has turned in an application. He's here tonight, Mark Cornelison, if you wouldn't mind getting up. And if you wouldn't mind just telling us, I guess, a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in this board position.
Well, I'm interested now because I'm retired. A lot of my working career, I worked swing shift. So I missed half the meetings there were, so it wasn't good to be on a board. But now I'm retired, so I have the time. I have 2 kids went through the school system, and I got 2 grandkids and a nephew going through there now. So I have a vested interest in the schools. I've got ideas about the school that I would like to pursue, and being an area member since, well, I was six years old when we moved up in the area. I went to school in Umpqua and Sutherland, and now I'm in the Oakland district, but it's all kind of the same. Spent some time over here in the Oakland district when I was in high school. So yeah, I'm vested in the community and want to be part of it and do what I can to help it out.
All right. Thank you. Did either of you have any questions for Mark? All right, I would entertain a motion if you are so inclined.
Motion to accept Mark as a new board member.
Second. All right, so we have a motion on the table. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none.
not quite yet.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mark. We have one further little bit of. Yes. Oh, does he have a copy over there?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you can cheat and look at it at the same time. So.
I blank.
That's not a good start.
I state your name.
I'm Mark Cornelison.
You solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the state of Oregon and the laws thereof and the policies of the Oakland School District. Will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability during the term for which I have been appointed.
All right. Welcome aboard. Please have a seat. No. Now you can leave there. All right. So next up, awards, recognition, and correspondence.
Well, I'd just like to recognize Mark and let him know that you can't change mine now. Well, there's no running, it's too late. No, I don't have any, nope, thanks for that.
All right. Adjustments to the agenda.
The only adjustment I've made to the agenda, I have on 10.7 advocates for school trust lands. That's the lawsuit that we've signed on as defendants to. We are moving that up to, we're going to move that to 10.2. We'll do it right after student reports.
Okay.
Because our guest is here, so he can introduce himself and update on that.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Public comments on non-agenda items. I don't have anything in front of me. Does anyone have anything? All right. Next is our consent agenda, which is meeting minutes from October 2025 and the HR report. Hope you've had a chance to go through those. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. I make a motion to approve this consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, that passes. And we'll move on to the fiscal overview. Cory.
Everything seems to be looking great and in order. Everything is on track. Right now, we've gone up another % in our estimated ending fund balance. Our interest continues to come in. We put a claim into the Awesome Grant to get reimbursed for what we've spent towards the bond already, and I've been in contact with them. They're hoping to release it by the end of this week. We're halfway through this week anyway. But they said all the paperwork. I sent them a big pile, about 100 papers, and while it was a lot, she said we were very detailed, so she was very thankful for that. Everything just seems to keep going, and we seem to be in great financial standing for this year.
Excellent. If anyone has any questions for Cory, there's a list of checks as well. If anyone has any questions on those.
There's quite a lot of checks.
Yes, there are. If there aren't any questions, we will move along to reports and discussions. And first up is 10.1 student body reports.
Hello school board. As you all remember from last time, I'm Kara Super, our high school's communication officer. Starting off, just a recap from our fall sports. Our volleyball season has came to a close, feeling unsatisfied with the season results. But in the long run, made for everlasting memories with our Lady Oker family. 3 members received all league recognition, with Latasha Myers and Morgan Swearingen earning second team all league, and Leanna Garner receiving honorable mention. With our cross country team, they've recently gone to districts, competing and running the trails. Caitlin Jimenez placed 10th, but was just short of qualifying for state. Fortunately, there are no seniors on the team, so everyone will be able to return next year, both new and improved members. We celebrated volleyball and cross country with an awards night last week. Our football team earned a first round playoff game against Lowell in Pleasant Hill last Friday night. Unfortunately, this resulted in a hard loss. Though the season is over, we are excited to see these boys improve even more within this season. We will be honoring football and cheerball athletes at the awards night Monday, 11/17. Coming up is our winter sports season. Open gyms are still happening to help both basketball players and wrestlers get ahead before the season practices start up next week. The first games for basketball normally happen in early December, which happens to be the Bills Belgatti tournament in Sutherland for both boys and girls basketball. While wrestling's first meet is the Willie Wilkerson tournament in Glide, also December 6th. Moving on to our clubs and organizations, FFA has recently came back from the National FFA Convention. Our chapter sent the officer team and 1 member to compete in Creek speaking, Leah Silva, who earned bronze in her competition. Our FFA chapter also concluded one of the annual fundraisers, which was the pie sale fundraiser, raising around $1,900 in funds. Last Friday, FFA went to compete in ag sales with Leah Silva, Morgan Swearingen, Hannah Matwig, and myself in the top 10 and brought home a first place banner. State is next Friday. Tonight, our officer teams compete in opening and closing ceremonies. National Honor Society hosted the induction ceremony October 22nd, inducting numerous new members and officers. This year, we plan to provide a community dinner for needy families in the spring. As for fundraising, we are planning to start up a hot cocoa stand at our nut hut during the lunch in our winter months to raise money for their chapter funds. Student leadership worked hard throughout homecoming and put on a Halloween costume contest that was judged during lunch. And now we are moving into planning our Penny Wars fundraiser between classes to raise money for our local food banks, as well as planning for our winter activities. The after-school program in October was focused on catering and baking, and they even helped put on the dinner for the NHS induction ceremony. Moving into November, we have woodworking as this month's activity, and students are creating cutting boards and other small projects to take home for the holidays. Over the past month, It has been a great success, and we'll be continuing that success moving into our second quarter. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and middle school reports?
My name is Natalie Norris and I'm an 8th grader at OMS. It is crazy to believe that the first quarter has already come and gone. Things at the middle school are going great and we have a lot of activities coming up. First off, tomorrow leadership is hosting the first year assembly of the year, and then the students will get to go have some fun at the quarter reward station. Then, next week on Thursday, November 20th, leadership is hosting the fall ball. It should be a lot of fun, and to be festive, we will be selling slices of pie during dance. Also, this year, leadership has decided to focus on our nuts activity. First quarter, we focused on never giving up with missing assignments and attendance challenge. This quarter will be focusing on meeting everything. All students have been given a kindness card this week. When a teacher staff member catches someone being kind, then they will give them a stamp. If by the end of the quarter a student has filled out their card, they will be able to use it to buy a snack at the leadership snack shack. We will also be doing more things throughout the quarter to practice using a Vicky. Now here's my part.
Hello, my name is Wendy Jimenez, and I'm an activity coordinator on the leadership team. As Natalie mentioned, things are going great at OMS. Our boys basketball team has 22 boys on it this year. They just had their first game of the season on Monday night at UBC, but A team was able to come out with a win, 49-40. It looks like it is going to be a great season for them again this year. Next, on the same night as the fall ball, leadership is also hosting an activity night for the 5th and 6th graders. They will be hosting an escape room with treats such as apple cider and popcorn. We hope to see lots of kids there. Lastly, last month, the 5th grade were able to go on their annual overnight field trip. This year, they went to the beach. A lot of students report that they really enjoyed going to the beach and spending time with friends. Thank you for having us. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for your reports. Certainly, you are always welcome to stay for the meeting, but if you want to slide on out, I certainly understand that as well. Thank you for coming.
Great job. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Have fun.
We'll call the next one 10.1.5, so it doesn't mess with our governing system.
Perfect.
This will be the advocates for school trust lands.
At this time, I'm going to introduce Dave Sullivan, who is working tirelessly on the other end of that lawsuit and keep things tied in. So he was going to come in today, introduce himself, and you go. Okay.
This has a very familiar feeling. Years ago, when my kids were in school, I was on the Corvallis school board, and things haven't changed a lot in the intervening years. Thank you for your service. So I'm retired, and that allows me to take on projects that seem like they're important in the world. And one important thing is tied to history. When our country was founded right after the Revolutionary War, before we had a constitution, the Constitutional Congress got together, and they had some important things to do. The first thing they did was they gave some land to officers and people that fought in the Revolutionary War. The next thing they did was they passed a bill that dealt with the Treasury. The next bill that they had set up a system of township ranges and sections so that they could organize how they were going to try and keep track of the new country they had. And the next bill after that decided how they were going to let states come into the Union. And to come into the Union, you had to make a promise that you were going to use a part of your land for schools and education. And the reason for that was simple. They wanted democracy to flourish, and they thought that educated people were necessary for a flourishing democracy. George Washington signed that bill, and our state was admitted to the Union under that process. Our state made a solemn compact with the federal government that we would take 1/18 of the state, 2 sections out of every township, and use them for schools. Now, many of them were sold off, and as a result, we have a common school fund, and that's a perpetual fund that funds schools. And that part is working reasonably well. But with respect to using school trust lands for schools, that's gone to hell in a handbasket. They are managing school trust lands so poorly that instead of being beneficiaries, money is going from the school trust fund to support the mismanagement of the school trust lands. So you folks were kind enough to join with Power School District and Sayula School District and some parents and students and 2 nonprofit advocacy groups, of which I'm the president of the local Oregon one. The national one is trying to fight similar kinds of battles in places like Montana, where this is truly a nonpartisan issue. In that in Montana, you got Republican control, and they're interested in giving below lease rates to ranchers and business people, right? And in Oregon, you've got Democratic control, and they want to give the land away to environmental groups and whatnot. Okay, so we have, as a society, a willingness to fudge on the edge and not use school trust lands for schools unless there's people that are willing to stand up and say, no, use them for schools. So that's what the whole purpose of the lawsuit's about. We're making good progress. We just got an answer on October 24th, after several years of trying and multiple lawsuits. The Coos County Circuit Court said, no, they have standing, they have jurisdiction, you can't use sovereign immunity, you can't use discretionary functional immunity, and all the other defenses you're coming up with, give them an answer. And the answer that they came up with is really shocking. They basically just said, well, we don't have to use them for schools. I mean, it is flat out, straight up, we're not going to. And the reason why this is so entertaining is that the Attorney General's office, which is providing this answer on behalf of the State Land Board, issued opinion after opinion over the prior decades saying, oh, of course, these are for schools. And so now they have this documented track record of they're supposed to be for schools. And well, we haven't been doing it lately, so let's just claim they don't have to be. And I'm going to be really interested in seeing how this works out going forward. And the real reason why I'm here is just basically to introduce myself and to thank you for being one of the 3 school districts out of the 197 in the state that was willing to say, okay, yeah, let's sign up on this. I think that it is understandable that most districts don't want to get involved in anything that's sort of viewed as political. But if no one stands up, then who's willing to fight evil? And I see it that way. Anyway, I've taken my 3 minutes, and I just wanted to drop by and introduce myself. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to. I think I've given most of you. Did you get a copy of this book?
I have them sitting in my desk.
Oh, okay. So I'll leave you with a spare copy. This is a book that describes the situation here in Oregon. It's called Oregon's Constitutional Duties to Schools, and was written by me and Margaret Ferd, who is the president of the National Advocates for School Trust Lands out of Utah. And it's made a huge difference in Utah over the last 50 years. They start off with a teeny tiny little fund, and then they also have some oil and gas lands that we don't have. So that it becomes really important to actively manage your property if you've got things that are valuable and have been given away over the years at discounted rates and then not updated, right? Sort of like if you have a rental property and you never adjust the rent, and then there's inflation. Like I said too much. If you have any questions, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll probably go home to my wife. I just wanted to drop by and say hi.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thanks.
So as we've kind of talked, and I've kind of given you guys updates once every few months as things come in, like our lawsuits, it's slow, but I feel like there's been some really good breakthrough. So it will be interesting. I'm intrigued to kind of see when I saw his last email that said that was their defense, that we're just not doing it. Doesn't seem like a very good defense. But I will say if it works, I'm using it. So just giving you guys a heads up so you know and are aware. Stay tuned. But I really appreciate Dave's and his group of people. Barb has been, his wife's been helpful as well, but just a very good group that's kind of fighting behind the scenes for us, which is really what schools need. So especially going into the financial probably cliff that we're heading. So good to hear. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
Let's see, 10.2, we have principal and council reports. Those are in your packet. If you have any questions, I believe we have our principals, right?
Can I just add on?
Yes, please.
I didn't make it into my report and I should have suggested Tyra mentioned it and I forgot. But we celebrated Veterans Day on Monday with a flag raising ceremony and we kind of, next year we might do it bigger and better and invite more, but to be perfectly honest with you, we were a little bit nervous on how that was gonna go. So we kind of kept it in-house, but had all the students come out and we had some veterans there, just five, I think, sit around the flagpole and the kids raised it and Mr. Hill played the national anthem and Shepherd Berksby, who's our VP, gave a little reading. Had a little sign on, I went back to class. It was very well done, and hopefully next year a little bit bigger. We also asked parents and students to fill out a little Google survey to recognize some veterans, and we have about 20 certificates in our front display window, and so you should stop by and see them if you're around. It's really good. And we'll leave those up for the month of November. So your relatives are up there.
Yes.
So, definitely got filled out and it was pretty cool. So stop by and see the certificate and flag raising was awesome. And we'll be ahead of the game and invite you next year. But we were just kind of slow playing just in case.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Questions on the reports, anyone? No? All right, we will move along to the custodial maintenance report, which you also have in your packet there. Have a chance to look at that. If you have anything to add to that? Yeah. Self-explanatory.
Pretty on top of things there. I just reiterate, as I've said for the last year, custodial and maintenance are basically doing double duty because with all the construction that we have going on in campus there, especially the maintenance crew is basically doing what they always do to try and keep things going here and manage the day-to-day issues, but also responding to all the construction issues that we have and hope, hey, your next 2 days are now set moving this stuff or doing this stuff. So, and they've managed it very well and are handling the extra work really well.
10.4, our facility report.
Facilities. So we missed meeting, the November meeting this month. It's always the first Friday of the month, but I was at OSBA. So we couldn't do it then. We have it scheduled for this Friday, although I don't know who else is going to be able to make it. So updating month of time. So going back to our first seismic, which we shouldn't be still talking about it 3 years in, but we are the same issues going on. That basketball hoop that we put up in front of the stage broke when we were about the fifth time that it got raised and lowered. And so it has been repaired to the point that it's now usable and it's down, but we have music concerts coming up here in a couple of weeks. So on December 3rd, the group that's coming into the middle school gym that is putting up all of the hoops and the volleyball standards and the middle curtain and all of that stuff is coming in. And when they're here, we're going to have them pop over and fix that. It'll take them 15 minutes to do it. It'll be done the right way. And so that'll be done on December 3rd. And then that will actually be done now. Phase 2, the 5-6 hallway is also done. We have the plaque, the final plaque we haven't put up yet, but we have that in our possession. Final sign off is done. We just have some warranty work that needs to be done over break. The floor in the hallway needs to be redone. There's a couple of molding things that need to be repaired as well. Floor company's on the hook for it. It's warranty work, so it doesn't stop us. We asked for a 3-month extension for that phase 2, just the last one. It was supposed to be closed out on September 30th, and we pushed it to December 31st. We're all done with the building. We have everything done, just that final punch list is so it's going to wrap up. So done with those things. So that's and then the last piece on that is we've been struggling with the same problem we have in all of our buildings. Our fire stuff is just so outdated. So Nextcom is our company that we work with for all that. So when we did all that, we had to take the fire alarms off. We had to take all of the sensors, all those things off the walls. About half of them are put back up. Some of them are just at the end of their life, so we had to order them. So Nextcom is on the hook to get those. We got our occupancy to get back in there, and we have everything is good. But for our system to be up and 100% running, Nextcom is supposed to be scheduled in. We're hoping to get them in next week to run the final things. They were waiting to get, because everything that we get has to be either used or found on, I don't even, MySpace. I don't even know where to find it. No idea. But I mean, we're getting stuff out of the 50s and 60s and 70s. So anyway, updating that because putting in an entire system would be great, but it's just not feasible. So that will be the last thing that we are checking off there. So that'll get phase 2 done as well. Wood shop, metal shop, storage area, buildings are up, done. The sawmill is now done as well. We got the final bill on that. We have the fence around it, got the cement board. Looks fantastic over there. Very good use of space. Turned out nice and clean and neat. So looks really good. I don't know what the timeline for getting the sawmill set up and starting to process and use it, but it's there. And I think Brian has reached out to some people for a little bit of direction. He's spent a lot of time with Josh Gary over in Sutherland because that's where he got the idea and they have that set up and they're using it pretty consistently. So we did get that cover over it. So now we'll be able to get it set up and hopefully get moving on that.
Hey, Jeff?
Yeah.
I think that driving by, it looks like that's a wood miser.
Okay.
Daniel Knight.
Yeah.
Has one.
Oh, okay.
And he's used it. He built a couple of guys' houses with it. I have a different brand. So Daniel Knight has the same brand. So if you need some help with that.
I know Daniel, so I'll make a phone call to him and see if he can pop up and give us a little insight. Awesome. Thank you for that. Well, let's see. So that's our phase 2 woodshop metal shops. OHS gym seismic. Phase 1 on that is done. It's been done, but we added that roll-up door that we cut into the back of the laundry room. We got the hole cut in the bricks last week and a half ago. The metal came in for it Monday. They put the metal in around it and got it shaped and inserted, and the roll-up door is coming tomorrow, and it'll be put in place tomorrow. We really work hard to get everything done on Fridays. That's going to be relatively non-disruptive. It's in the back, shouldn't take them more than an hour and a half, and there's not even a lift. I mean, it's a chain hoist. It's just a hand one. So it should go in pretty quick and easy and really non-disruptive from the school perspective. And then phase 1 for that is done. So then phase 2 starts as soon as school's out. So June 12th-ish, we'll start. They're going to peel off the top roof. They got a little bit of blocking to do in the ceiling, but very little. Put the roof on. They'll redo all the lights, and they'll redo. Phase 2 would be done. So the gym would be completely done, and we'll move it on to the high school. Softball field. We finally found somebody that came in, just a local hole drilling guy. Brought in an old used, that looked like a weathered farm piece of equipment, but worked amazing and dug 3-foot holes, 11 feet deep. And we had to put in, I think, 7 of them. So they're currently about half filled with water. So we do have to get them some pumped out, but we are very close, and they were finishing the footings around the visitors dugout. As soon as that's done, they're going to bring in, put the bottom pads in the hole. They got to get all the water out. They'll put a little base pad of cement for the poles to sit on. Poles are over there as well. They're 40-foot poles, so they'll get those placed in, get those set. As soon as those are set, and we wanted to wait. We have not poured the dugouts because we're not sure what it's going to look like getting the concrete in. I think we ended up just saying, bring a pump in to save us the trouble on a stock truck. And so once they get the poles for the backstop set, then they'll pour the footings or the foundations for that, and then they'll come in and pour the slab. And then once that happens, the rest of it will go really quickly because that's really just framing up the dugouts and getting that done. And that's all can be done in the rain. So really it's just finding the time to hit the window that we can get the concrete in, and our McKinsey workers are off from not being used over at the gym. So that is coming pretty quickly. And I feel like that'll be, really, we don't have a whole lot of worries. It's going to be done before February when the season starts. We have pushed it back a little bit. As soon as we get the holes in place, they do a final measurement to then construct the backstop net that goes up there. We're not going to put that up until right before the season anyway. There's no reason for it to weather out in the winter time. So we'll wait and put that up right before the season starts. but everything should be done. I think we should see some pretty good movement on it within the next 2 weeks. So that's going well. Development of the area behind the track. We're basically, the work is done. The field is done finally. The fence is in all the way across down across our temporary road. Fence around the rest of it is done. Gates, they put those in. They put them in on Monday, maybe Friday last week or Monday. So basically it's done. The only thing that hasn't been done, I have not done the final paperwork to close out that 1200C permit. You gotta have 70% of grass growth, and you gotta have your erosion control all done. Running into a mild problem. Larry wants 0 erosion control on his place anymore because the cows are messing with it, and then, so I think we're gonna just be done, which is fine with us, and we'll get the pictures. Should get those tomorrow. I'll send it in, and the permit is open till December 13th. So as soon as so I still have some time, but if I can get it closed, I'll get it closed. We held back percentage of Benzel's final check, waiting for that to get closed. As soon as that's done, then we'll out of the woods with that. So it looks great, by the way. Said the grass on it looks better than the grass on the football field. We are going to keep the safety fence in there all winter long and through the spring probably until it dries out. We're not going to let anybody on it, and we won't use it in track. We will have to scramble a little bit because our new discus ring will not be ready for track. So we're going to put in a temporary ring kind of in the south end zone that kind of faces out. So they'll be throwing the discus towards the group that's throwing the javelin from the other end. So it's 100 yards apart. So it's not going to lap, which is what most small schools do, is put their ones at both ends. It's going to make traffic a little harder. So most likely we will just host less track days this year. Try to do one middle school and one high school and call it good. So that's in good shape. And then walking path that the city's doing. I met with the city engineer and the construction Umpqua Sand and Gravel, whoever those new owners are, is doing that. So I met with them 2 weeks ago. They're ready to start. It's been great working with Lori, the engineer from the city. This is like my dream project. She lets me give lots of input. She basically takes all my input and made quite a few changes to it, but I don't have any responsibility with it. So it's awesome. When they do start breaking ground, they'll break ground. They had right where you've driven in a parking lot down there, that there's a distinct area where new blacktop starts and bad blacktop is still there. They had about 15 feet of that new blacktop being cut up as part of the project. So we agreed that it only made sense to push that back to that gap and push 15 feet on the other end. So we're going to get 15 feet of better Old Town loop down there. The walking path will be it'll be butted up against the road from this entry to this entry, and then it'll skip for the entry there, and then it'll right along the baseball field. It stays connected till you just get past the bleachers, and then it dives off into right behind the dugout and pops up on that hill. They're going to cut 18 inches off the top of that hill, and then it'll still be so it's only going to be a foot lower because they'll cut 18 inches off. They got to put that 4 inches of base, and then they'll pave that walking path in there. And I think I have them talked into some gravel between the actual walking path and the road, and then all that'll be paved all the way out. So, and it'll go to the entry in by the greenhouse. So, and it does at the end because there's a fire hydrant there and a couple of water lines. It kind of dives back to the towards the road. But it's a 4-5 foot wide path, I think. I think 6. Anyway, it's going to be great. And I think the city is exploring the options of applying for another grant. It was a ODOT grant for however much it was. They're going to look at doing another one and possibly then finishing Old Town Loop out to the road and getting that corner widened out so it's not quite so dangerous, because it is very sketchy. It's sketchy for 2 drivers there, let alone when anybody's walking. So the ability to get that safer would be better. So that's on. It should be starting. Still got the fields for sale at Washington. It's just not the time to be buying. So we just probably need to buckle up and realize that's gonna probably sit there for, short of us lowering the price, which I wouldn't recommend. I think we just weather this out. I think now that the field's done and softball's moving through it, I'd say by the January meeting, I should be able to give you a pretty good view of where we're at with our facilities budget and kind of see where we're at going forward there. But I think because we were just going to backfill that in there anyway, so I think we're fine. Just realize we're going to sit on it till whatever financial loss we're working into our balances out. So there's that, and then OHS, the actual classroom seismic in there. We're in the planning phases of that, still planning. We haven't, right now the architects have all the work and they're kind of putting their creations together. They've gotten with the engineers and architects are working together to put together what their seismic plan is. They've done the basic plans already, a couple of shear walls, couple of, most of it's in the attic. There's not a whole lot of touching in of the building itself. It's tight, like we talked about in budget, but not as tight as we initially thought, because we are going to save quite a load on that, on the one end where we've already put the shear wall in. We did the geo this last summer where the lobby connects to the short hall is a shear wall. That was in both plans, so we already have that wall in place. We're looking at trying to do something with the high school bathrooms, kind of similar to what we did in the lobby, and we're exploring some options right now. We don't know what that's going to look like yet, because they're not, just the physical space isn't the same because it's two small hallways that are across from each other instead of one combined. But we have a couple ideas that we're looking at to try to figure out some budgeting stuff. So next month or two is going to be planning. It comes up we have our weekly construction meeting on Thursdays, and it's on our topic every week. So we're staying on top of it. So that seems to be going well. And then lastly, the gym is moving fast. I think we had some frustrations early last week about we were way off. They've been saying consistently Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing, oh, well, it's going to be mid-January, to then Alan's concerned that it's going to be at the end of January, maybe February. So we had a pretty direct conversation at our meeting on Thursday, and I'd already talked to him about, hey, I got some serious scheduling questions on Thursday and I need some answers. If I cannot continue to be saying Christmas Eve, because that's what you're telling me, and then it's going to be February. I'm not doing that. So we need to know now. Quite a bit of juggling of some subs, but as of right now, we're still on track for essentially basically New Year's Eve. It's cost us about a week. With a couple of hiccups we ran into a while ago. We got our cover inspections. We have a couple of big deadlines we needed to hit. Monday, our cover inspections were good. We basically passed with an asterisk. We have to add some more blocking in the rafters on the lower end, but that does not stop we're insulating right now, and we are getting ready to start sheetrocking. And so we can do all that coverage in the attic. So we passed and can move forward with the things we need to get moving on, but we still do have to have some fixes in there, which are easy fixes that they're going to do tomorrow. They'll be done. So insulation is going in. They already started today. They're going to insulate on all the lower levels until come Monday. Our exterior sheet metal people, the people that are putting the tin kind of around the sides that go from the brick to the roof, those guys are supposed to be here on Monday. The first thing they're going to do is flash out all the windows. As soon as they do that, the window people are supposed to also be here on Monday putting windows in. As soon as we get all the windows in, HVAC people are also here on Monday putting the HVAC ductwork in and getting those in holes filled, because we need to get it temperature controlled. And so as soon as those windows get in, and we'll start insulating and sheetrocking, it'll get temperature controlled, because our next big Monday is huge for us coming up. So this last Monday, getting the cover inspections, which we got. So we're moving through insulation. Next Monday, getting those, and we're going to continue insulating, and they're going to start, I think, hanging some sheetrock in those lower levels. But as soon as those windows get flashed and put in and they're done, everybody will pull off the lower and go to the upper, get all of that insulated, and sheetrock, because we gotta hang all the sheetrock up top before we can put the finished plywood on the bottom. That has to go in second. And the other big, landmark we're waiting for, two of them. One is for next Monday, because the roof is done and it's weathered in, but the metal that goes on the roof is getting delivered Friday. And we're bringing a crane in Monday to put it up there. And the crane's gone, then we can start finishing our site work stuff outside. And, once that's done, then we start the windows and insulation. And the other date, I want to say it's like 12/5, so the first week of December, first week of December or early the second week. We have to have that building temperature controlled and ready for the flooring to be in there, because the flooring has to sit for a good week or two in there, acclimate to it before they can lay it. So we have to have it ready for the flooring to come in. As of right now, we're on track to hit that. We talked to the building inspector about possibly, so what looks like it's gonna be Christmas Eve-ish, we're gonna be done, except for the exterior tin is still a question mark. We think it's gonna be done, and assuming they have it and they're here, it will get done. And then the other piece that won't be the exterior entryway stuff, we'll have the sidewalks in, but we're not gonna pour that blacktop in the winter. If we pour the blacktop in the winter, we have to pay an extra big fee to get them to fire up their blacktop plant. A lot of variables in making sure the temperature's right and it's not too cold. So our plan is to push the blacktop off, which is for the fire entry road for the fire trucks to get down. We're going to put that in packed gravel, and we believe that the fire marshal will sign off on that. They'll still have fire access. We'll still have the sprinkler system up and charged and everything else. So we feel like we're going to be okay. And we did, the building inspector said, assuming everything else is done, he would give us temporary occupancy for that. So theoretically, all that said, we're still on track. A very, very aggressive thing. We still are running into some design things that were just, design details that were missed in the push of things, but nothing that we haven't been able to cover. So as a whole, we're still on track to be there. And really come January, mid-January, when that one's done, our construction really slows down, which will be a big sigh of relief. I mean, obviously it picks up again in the summertime, but it'll be nice it's hard to manage it during the school year. So, but we're in good position and moving well there.
Excellent. Questions for Jeff? All right, how about that superintendent report?
I'll be a little briefer on this one. Just say we did our reunification training that we talked about. We did that with all of our staff on the 24th. Kudos to the admin team for all of the work they did in helping put that together, do planning. I felt like it was a great success. All of the I think we had 2 or 3 staff out of 100 that we have here were gone, but everybody else was there. We brought in some parents and students from our site councils and stuff, and some staff people brought their kids. So we were able to, we brought it all to the gym, talked them through it, took them down to the church, got them seated in the main area, talked them through it again, what it's going to look like. And then we took everybody and walked them through the process. And then we doled out some roles for them to play, and we did a role playing. So we had some people playing teachers, some playing students, some playing parents, and then all of the spots, check-in spots along the way. And we had our resource officer there as well. Fire did not show, they were not able to show up, but we had a resource officer there kind of talking through that. We'd already met with him extensively over what parking lot stuff would look like and so forth. So went really well. Took just over 2 hours. I'd say it was the question session where we had some interesting questions asked, but they were all good. And so got through it and it went really well. At our SUPS meeting today in Roseburg, the ESD was very complimentary. We had them in as well, and Emily Ring, maybe, I'm not sure what her last name is. Emily, is that right? Emily Ring. Emily Ring, she's the liaison between ESD and the sheriff's office. So she's like the law enforcement liaison. So we had her come as well. And she was super happy with how it went and had a lot of complimentary things. And she just said, all right, well, the rest of you 12 districts are on the hook because Oakland did theirs and they did it and they're practiced and ready to go. So the rest of you guys need to step up. Who's coming in January? So so it went really well. Have conferences tonight and tomorrow night on schedule. Elementary is no school tomorrow during the day, and they're conferencing all day long. The other two buildings are doing it in the evenings. We're in month 2 of our after school program. Started the second quarter this week, and I've had really good numbers in the after school program, so it seems to be really enjoying it. And then classifications going on from the OSAA level. They'll have final determination on that on December 15th, is when they make their final recommendation to the executive board. The last proposal that came out, what OSAA produced, has us staying at 2A, basically the same league for the most part, minor changes. But there is a new recommendation that came out that is gaining a little bit of traction that kind of blows everything up, and that proposal we would push up to 3A. So we'll see how that goes. They have a meeting on Monday. I'm going to pop into the Zoom and testify real quickly about what my opinion on that new plan is. And then also, Dave didn't mention it, but we also have they're having a meeting at Philomath at one of the mills over the lawsuit that Dave was talking about. And I'm not going to go up to it, but I'm going to zoom in and sit in on that. It's like 2.5 hours long because they want the 3 school districts there. So I'll be a part of that as well on Monday. And then OSBA, I brought a couple of things back from that. I was going to ask Darren and Brent if there was anything that they wanted to share. We've been up on Thursday night and spent Friday and Saturday up there and went through all the sessions. And is there anything you wanted to share?
I was surprised at this, how they figure out the school money, how vague and how it's like on the dart. There's nothing concrete in that whole thing at all.
We're talking about state school fund?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got one number and all the rest of it's make up. That's crazy.
We talked breakfast on the first day, and we sat together and watched the introductory speaker and all that stuff. And then we took the breakout sessions and we just broke them out, and we went to different ones in the morning and then in the afternoon, and then the same thing on Saturday. And so we saw quite a few different sessions. I would say that they did a very good job of misleading you with the title of their sessions, what you actually got to sit through and listen. So 2 of the ones that I went to, I was highly disappointed in. Nothing like, I would say nothing, but very little like it was advertised, but whatever. There was lots to be learned. The things that I'd say that came away with, not just from there, but I'd say that are big topics coming towards school boards and schools coming forward. The Accountability Act that was passed in the last legislative session is a real thing, and it's coming. There's no question that the legislature passed it and said, ODE, you're doing this. ODE is not staffed to do it. We don't know what that's going to look like. They're in the rulemaking starts tomorrow. There's a lot of apprehension on some of the people sitting in that, even on that rulemaking committee. So we already have the 5 tracks that 5 topics that we track for our longitudinal growth performance targets. We already track those to graduation, 4-year, 5-year graduation cohorts, attendance, on track for graduation, attendance, and 8th grade math. 8th grade math, yeah, 8th grade math. They added 3rd grade reading. 8th grade math's the one that's coming, and 3rd grade reading. So we've had those targets in place. We're on track with those, doing well. They added 8th grade math and they added K2 attendance are the 2 that they've added. So those 7 are going to be tracked. They also have these formative assessments that you have to give throughout the year, 3 times a year, and then come back and share that data with the school board. So you guys will see what our growth is. They haven't determined what that looks like. If we have to hit marks on that, if we just have to share it with you, if the big fight is you're going to have 5 options of those formative assessments. We already do a couple of different ones, but if they're not on the list, then we can't do those anymore. We got to switch to whatever's on the list, which means retraining, which means new contracts, which means we don't even really know all what it means. We'll see. So there's tons of questions to be answered, but accountability is coming. And the thing they keep going back to is the real piece is if you're not in compliance, and they haven't said what compliance is, they haven't said if they're gonna take those, we're just gonna stick with the 7 tracks that we know are there. If those 7 tracks, if we're not on whatever growth they put out there, which they haven't determined yet, if you're not in compliance with it the first year, at the end of first year, then at year 2, you get some help and support, but they don't know what that's gonna look like or how they're gonna do that. And then if you're still not on compliance in year 2, then in year 3, they can come in and control up to 25% of your state school fund and tell you how to spend it and what you're gonna do with it. They haven't said how they're gonna do that. They haven't said there's 7 tracks. If we're killing it in 6 tracks, but 1 track we missed by a half a point, does that put us in the red? We don't know any of those things yet. So only telling you so you guys can share my unknowing and angst, because I am nervous about it. I don't know what it's going to look like. And if they just, once they tell it to me, fine. It's not going to be great. I know that, because ODE just does not have the staffing to oversee 197 schools. What happens if 150 schools are, I coined the term ODE jail. What happens? How are they going to manage 150 schools? I mean, they just don't have the people for it. So we don't know what that's going to look like. But I would say the threat is real about they're going to control 25% of the state school, of our state school funds, if we end up in that place. I'd like to believe that we have a successful district and we've been doing well in all those categories, so we should be okay. But for them not to be able to say, is there a mark that everybody has to hit? Or is it just growth and you're moving in that direction? Because if it's a mark that we have to hit, 4 of those 5 we've hit already plenty of times. Our K3 reading scores are what we're working on. K8 math scores also good, but again, working on those could be problematic. K2 attendance also, those are question marks of what that's going to look like. So anyway, accountability is coming. So that's what I got for you now, except to tell you some of the variables that are out there that they don't have answers for. We brought it up at our SUP meeting again today, and I will continue to bring it up at our ESD meeting every month. Hey, where are we at on this? What are we looking at? And I can tell you that it has COSA and OSBA freaking out, and we're doing weekly meetings with them now as well, every Friday morning at 8. So we kind of get some updates. So at least they're kind of keeping us in the loop. And I do think that a lot of those questions that I have are being posed at that level as well. And I've asked them plenty of those meetings. So accountability is on its way. PBAM,
Sorry.
you want to give me that acronym? Public, basically it's an accounting system for what public schools do.
It's our numbering system of how we account in Oregon.
So when you look at the budget and you flip it open and you see office of the middle school principal, and you see the name of it, and then you see those 12 or 15 numbers, however many numbers there are, right?
Every district is different, I guess.
So you have X number of numbers. Well, the legislature passed a law that at some point that ODE, because they increased money to the state school fund, which was great, but now every time we get us money increase, there's strings attached to it. One of those strings is that ODE is responsible for tracking every dollar that's spent in the state school fund by grade level. So ODE doesn't really have the ability to do that. So they passed it on to the schools and said, oh, by the way, we're going to use a whole new accounting system that now has 32 digits in it instead of 15. And you need to be ready for that. And it was set to go in place July 1st of next year. And essentially the business managers of the state said, yeah, that's not going to work, because half of them are going to quit. It's not feasible as it stands right now. Our accounting system that we use, Tyler Technologies, that we use for all of our POs, accounting, all of the accounting we do, all of our budgeting stuff, is not capable of doing it. And most of the state uses that company. So they did, I think they heard our pushback, and they're now waiting. They pushed it to July 1st of 2027, which isn't going to matter. Another year is not going to make any difference. So we'll see where it plays out. But I think they kicked it down the road for a year. So people are, hopefully, I think in their mind, people are just going to complain less, and then it'll go away. It's still going to be a problem. So, and then lastly, the worst news that I got for you, we are heading towards a financial cliff. That's a real thing. The last, things were going pretty well. The last revenue forecast, which is the first for this biennium, came out and it was not good. The next one's coming out on the 19th, which is next week. It's anticipated to be not great. Lots of factors to that. With the big beautiful bill that came out from the feds, dropping the taxes, our tax, Oregon's tax rate is directly tied to the feds. So with them lowering taxes, it automatically lowers our taxes. So that means there's less money coming into the state school fund. So right away, we're going to have less to the state's general fund, which we're funded out of. So everybody across the state is going to take a hit, which, so there's that. And then the unemployment's up, jobs are down. There's already less people working and so forth. So all of those things put together has people really freaking out. The state asked this is kind of their normal procedure. They asked for all of the state agencies, ODEs, the one that affects us, but everybody, every state agency had to put together a list of cuts. If they had to cut 1% of their budget, what would it look like? Up to 5%. So ODE laid theirs out, presented it to us. Are there things that are going to affect us? Yes, not super bad. I mean, and the reality of getting a 5% in the short term is probably a little extreme. But the belief among soups right now is that we will be fine this year. They've only done a mid-year cut once in, I don't know about Oregon history, but at least in the last 30 or 40 years. And that was in 09, when we had the last big time recession. They cut us in the mid-year and then the second year of the biennium. The belief is the cuts will come in the second year of the biennium, which is next year. That's not great, but we're kind of prepping for it. We already have ideas. As I've said before, we're still okay. A lot of the schools that are in deep trouble right now that are really freaking out about the less money coming in are also purging students, losing students. I wouldn't say purging, but losing. They're having declined enrollment, going online or going homeschool or moving to other schools. We are not doing that. We have the opposite problem. Our numbers are up. So that's a good thing right now. And we also have been making transfers into some funds to try and get some work done around the district. We will be able to stomach not making those. It'll change kind of how we're operating on the peripheral stuff, but as far as individual in the classroom to kids for the next year should be okay. I'm not saying it will be, saying should, telling. But if we end up in a massive trouble next year in our budget, then it's going to be mild Armageddon around the state because everybody else is going to be a lot worse. So, but the financial belt tightening is coming, and we are going to start hitting some of those things. So, budget next year will be tighter than this year for sure. And the real belief is that it's the next biennium that we're really going to see some ugliness. And that unfortunately we'll go into negotiations. Our contracts are up that spring when they're in that long session. So that's going to be just bad timing is what it is. So unfortunately, I don't have great news on that bigger scheme of things. That's just what it is. And then local, just keeping you guys in the loop. We are, I would say this year, and that's probably a byproduct. It's not entirely. It's a byproduct of having bigger numbers. Not entirely that, because a lot of these kids are ours, but generally we've always had three or four tougher kids in the elementary school. Usually by the time the middle school comes, elementary does their magic and they're in pretty good shape by the time the middle schoolers and high schoolers, different set of problems, but a lot better. This year we have 5 to 7 in all 3 buildings that are tough. They're tough, and it's putting stresses on the staff. It's putting stresses on everything, and we're doing everything we can. We've got more support in the buildings right now than we've ever had before, but the kids are harder than they've been before. So just want you guys as a board to be aware of it. Understand that we're talking with our staff and let them know we're there to support them as best we can, but unfortunately the kids are getting tougher and the restrictions of what we can do to manage those kids is getting harder. We are way more restricted than we were, and so it's just trying to make that balance. So kudos to our staff. They're doing their best to stay on top of things and manage on a day-to-day basis, but it's been tough. Been a harder start to the school year than we used to. On that positive note, that's all I got.
Thanks for that cheery message, Jeff.
Anytime.
Who's meeting? That leads right into our enrollment report, 10.6.
Enrollment looks, I mean, again, like I said, mixed bag of what we have. We're doing exactly what we thought it would. We're balancing out. We started with a huge number to begin with. We're down to 673, so we're down 16 students than we were at the beginning of the year. It's not as big of a drop as we usually get, it seems like, but we're definitely trending in that direction. That being said, the high school picked up 4 new kids in the last 2 weeks. We maybe had more. So we picked up a few, but we've also lost them along the way, which is exactly how it plays. Usually by January is usually where we start to kind of balance, and while we still then lose some, gain some, that's about our number the rest of the way out. So we're definitely subtracting, like I said, down 16, and probably have a few others that'll go before too long. So all 3 buildings are managing our out-of-district kids with attendance and behavior contracts, and we give them the opportunities, but if they can't make it, gotta go. So going into that.
Skipping 10.8, OSBA Legislative Policy Committee position.
So this one, it's not my vote. I don't have a vote, so you guys had it in your, apologies to Mark, you're kind of flying blind a little bit, but there's some info in your book. You guys essentially got to vote for these 2 choices between these 2 candidates. I think, was it just Darren? Was it just me and Brent at that Tuesday night thing in Roseford? So the 2 candidates were there. The lady stood up and talked a little bit. Janet spoke briefly. I don't think she was supposed to, but she kind of had the opportunity, and so she took advantage of it. And then I think she realized that then, I should introduce Steve. So Steve was sitting there. He just didn't say anything. So I don't know anyone, either of these. So I got no doubt in whoever you guys want to vote for or talk through.
I'd entertain a motion. I was much more impressed by Janet's resume than I was Steve's, but that's kind of where it ends with me. I don't know either one.
I would, you don't need an action item for it. So the discussion, you do need 2 action items.
Yeah.
So for now, if you have any questions or questions to each other, or talk, or whatever discussion you want.
That's where I was. All right. Well, we'll hear either way. We'll make a choice in the action item. 10.9, August policies, first reading.
The other reason that Mark wants to run. So in front of you is your packet of policies. That is this fall's version. To be fair, it says August on there. We didn't receive them till late September, and I did not have time to get them done for the October one. So, like always, in your packet, I think put that in the packet, right? Yeah. In the back of the packet it goes through each policy, tells you what it is, gives you a basically my language version of what it is, as opposed to the legal speak you're getting in there, and recommendations. I guess just an overview, since it's a first reading, I'm just sending you home to read them and bring back any concerns or questions you have at the next one. Just a reminder, the overview that you have in the packet kind of gives you an overview of what each policy is. I highlighted when there was word choices, I went ahead and highlighted, or I crossed out what I think we need to get rid of, or highlighted what we need to keep. And there are a lot of kind of repeat policies, ones that you've just seen within the last year. And then, since I had something else, but just bring back any concerns you have as you go. Oh, the other thing, There was a lot more, generally speaking, my rule of thumb since I've been doing this has been if it's required, we do it. If it's highly recommended, you probably do it. If it's optional, I usually say no. There were a couple of optional ones that I recommended that we adopt at this point. Basically either because that's the way the wind's blowing and we're gonna need one for it anyway, or they are around something that we could very well be faced with, an issue that we need a policy in place for. So there were a couple more optional ones this time that, or optional or recommended ones that I said, yeah, we should take, even though they're lower levels and then past we come. So just kind of an overview, heads up as you're reading through it. So next meeting, bring back any questions or concerns you have. That'll be the second reading. We can talk through them then. If you don't have too many concerns, even though it's a big-ish pack, it's not the biggest one we've ever had, but it's thick. There's not a lot of options in it. It's pretty straightforward.
Excellent.
It's a that was very nice of you. We normally double side it, but because this we knew it was gonna be Mark's first foray going through it, we tried to make it a little easier. When it gets front and back, it gets a little more fuzzy. Yeah. Okay.
All right, 10.10, the chalkboard grant request, which I've got basically a signature.
Well, it's in that really tiny font. He just didn't get very detailed in there. Oh, it's yours. Yeah, well, so it's a chalkboard grant.
Just
It's
fill it in.
straightforward. It's from Nick Chrissy at the middle school. He's basically requesting the chalkboard funds for 2 Bamboo Lab 3D printers to support classroom engineering projects, which is really code for toys in his classroom. Chalkboard grant. Tim's chalkboard grants come out. They're $500 every year. We've gotten chalkboard grants. We were getting them back when they were $250. We usually have 5 to 7 teachers that would get them in that vary through buildings for a variety of things. They're pretty straightforward. I want to say it's one of the credit unions, isn't it?
Yeah. Northwest Community Credit Union or Cascade
So,
this one.
anyways, so pretty straightforward for a couple of printers.
All right, moving on to public comment regarding agenda items. Nothing? All right, thanks for being here. Our action items. First up, 12.1 OSBA Legislative Policy Committee position that we were just looking at. I would entertain a motion if someone would like to make one.
Motion made. Janet.
Okay. We have a motion to approve Janet Holland as our OSB Legislative Policy Committee position representative. Any discussion? No, we have to. We have this person. I'm lost myself. It's late. I'm ready to go home. Any discussion? All right. We shall vote. All those in favor of Janet Holland signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. It is Janet. And 12.2, the chalkboard grants. Entertain a motion for that as well. I make a motion to approve the chalkboard grant. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Measure passes. Upcoming meeting input.
Just throw out upcoming meeting is set for December 10th. That is the middle school concert. One of you guys' concerts on the 10th, right? Middle school. Yeah. So middle school concert on the 10th. That is 6. So if you wanted to attend that, you'd probably be able to get in the bulk of it and still have the meeting at 7. I mean, I'm open to try to dance around it. It is what it is.
Well, I don't have a student in middle school this year, so
Okay.
I'm good to go.
All right. So the 10th should be fine. So staying on the 10th, and then the only other kind of fits, because I'm asking the 2 facility, what do you guys want to do for facilities in December? Because I mean, I'm signed up for the law conference. I normally don't go Wednesdays, usually the pre-law stuff, so I don't really go to that. I go all day Thursday. Friday goes till noon, so I can go up. I've missed Fridays before. It's not a big deal. If I don't, we can still have committee, or we can still have facilities. We are probably gonna miss it this month. So, I mean, if we want to get everybody there.
I would
probably
say
have it
that's
on
your
the
call.
fifth.
If you want to miss Friday,
Yeah.
then convene. If not, then
Well, I don't want to, if I push it to the 12th, the same thing's gonna happen. I'm
Yeah,
losing
yeah.
you for sure, possibly the others, so, and that's an in-service, so Ryan won't be there either. So I would say we should try to do it. What's that?
12th is the in-service.
12th in service, so Ryan will be busy as well. So I would say we probably just, the only other option is to skip again in December and not go till January, which based on where we're at with stuff and where I think we're probably worth having. So I think having it on the 5th is the best bet. I'll just work around the law.
All right.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
So plan on the 5th. So other than that, December 10th, and that's it.
Anything else?
Nothing.
For the good of the order?
Welcome aboard, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other announcements? None. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Don't forget to bring your policies back with you next month, so we're not gonna print out any.